Hey,
Hey.
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 I'm glad you got home safely. It looks
Yeah.
gorgeous out there. It looks
It's
gorgeous out
actually, let me just tell you this, because you're seeing the back view. In front, it's a bunch of storm clouds. So I'm like, if y'all see me bolt and mute
there.
myself for 3 seconds, it's because lightning and I'm sitting by the pool. I
Oh, I
can't do
love
it.
it.
But yeah, so
Okay. Oh
the
my
pool's just
goodness, girl.
the
Well, it
pool
is
just got
hotter than
super
I don't know
cold.
what. You could fry eggs on the concrete.
Here too,
Real
here
talk.
too. I mean, I just left
So
up
what
there
you?
and it was definitely hot. Definitely hot up
Oh
there.
my God, it's 90 degrees
It's
and
90 here.
climbing.
It's 96
Yes,
here.
but I'm not
96.
complaining. I love it. So what you
Yeah,
sipping on,
I'm
girl?
complaining. I'm sipping on. I'm having a margarita, my usual. I just try to be
Oh,
easy this
yummy, yummy.
Sunday.
No, I'm lowballing it today. I'm just sipping on some water. It is just too hot to drink. I'm just like,
I just
nope.
drank water all morning, so I was like, all right, I'm gonna set
Yeah.
myself up. I drank water all the way here. Every airport was water. I'm like, okay, I need a drink now. It's
Oh,
been two
that's good.
airplanes, 3 airports. I got up
Oh,
pretty early,
Jesus.
but I'm here. I'm
You got
here,
those hot.
everybody.
Well, we
We
have
get this
a
stuff
very
perfected.
special show. This is
No,
show
because
number 8. Can you stand it?
but wait, our show number 8 is going to be marvelous, is it not? It's
Yes,
going to be so
marvelous.
marvelous. I cannot wait.
You know,
Yes,
guys,
I'm so excited.
me too. We're talking about none other than Miss Marva Allen. When you talk about
Woo-hoo!
people that have given to their community, had started at an early age, understanding and knowing what they wanted to do, and was a leader in technology. We're talking about Crane's 40 Under 40. Amazing stories. None
Amazing.
other than now creator, founder, CEO of WORDEEE, an online publishing platform that's incredible, and also co-owner of Hue-man Books. When talking about none other than my mentor, my dear sweet friend, Miss Marva Allen.
Marvelous, marvelous, marvelous.
Hello.
Welcome.
What a lovely welcome.
I'm glad you love it. We love you. Isn't that right, Lynn?
Yes. Oh my gosh. I'm just so psyched. I wish I need to put the glass down and not sip and write because you got so many jewels to drop today and I need to just know everything. So I'm just saying, after this show, we are friends for life, Miss Marva Allen. We are friends for We are here, boo boo. Yes. Yes.
Well, I think I
So,
like that. I think I like the idea of that. That
Yes.
you meet people and they have find value and you should connect. You should connect. And so I look forward to
Absolutely.
connecting. Yeah,
Absolutely.
definitely. So I'm glad to be here, and thank you for remembering me, Amelia.
always,
And
always. I could never forget you.
Yeah.
yeah, and
She talks about you quite often. Quite
oh,
often. So yes.
that's amazing.
Hmm.
That's amazing. Well, let's do it.
So, okay, so we always ask the first question, what are you sipping on?
What are you sipping
I
on,
am
Marva?
sipping on. It looks like a margarita, but it's apple cider vinegar.
There
Oh,
you go.
is it Bragg's? Is
Get
it
that
Bragg's apple
alkaline
cider vinegar?
wine.
I know.
Yes.
My body needs a little alkaline push. So I'm
And I
just sipping
love
on.
that. I love that. That's where
Yeah.
you get your radiance from.
How is that it? Well, it doesn't taste very radiant, but it's good for you.
Yeah.
Awesome. Awesome.
Lynn, did you want to say something? I'm sorry.
I mean, no. First of all, I was saying, is it Bragg's apple cider vinegar? Because everybody I know drinks Bragg's apple cider vinegar. But no, I'm ready to just jump in because, like, the bio blew my whole hair back down south, up north, and around. Like, it was like I'm just so impressed and so interested to hear everything. Like, you jumped into this at such an early age, becoming an entrepreneur. The foresight, the vision, the stamina and the fortitude to press on as long and as hard as you had, Girl, just tell us a story. Where we gonna start at? Where we starting at?
The beginning. I want to start with the very beginning. How
Okay.
did you know that you wanted to start a technology company with your sister? And then did you ever imagine it turning into a multi-million dollar business?
No, this is the beauty of life. You never know where it's going to go. I had never had any intention of starting a technology company. I was a biology major and headed to medical school. That was my trajectory. That's what I knew. That was the life that I expected, to be a neonatal pediatrician for the rest of my life. And then I got pregnant, got married, and got pregnant, and my son was born prematurely. And I had to make a decision about whether or not I could spend another 8 years, 4 years in medical school and 4 years in residency, and then the crazy life of a doctor with a premature child that I didn't know where he was going to end up. So I decided at that point to sort of put a pause in my life and see how his first year developed. While I was doing that, I did an MBA. While I did that
You
year,
just happened to fit that in. You just happened to fit that in, huh?
happened to fit that in while
Huh.
he was there, and it was like 1980s, and then in 81 my father died, and my sister, who was at the time a financial auditor for Arco, the oil company, um,
Wow.
you know, sort of came to Michigan with when he died, because he was with us there. And my brother-in-law, who is an ENT physician, he said at the time, why don't we just start something? There's this thing called technology that's coming, and there is this company I've been in touch with. It's called Software City, and I think we should just buy a franchise and start this technology company. And I'm going, what's technology? And it was very, very interesting. My sister took a leave of absence. I
Mhm.
decided that, okay, I'm going to give it 2 years. If it works, yeah. If it doesn't, I'll just go on to medical school.
Right.
Well, it worked really, really well. And
Apparently.
Yes.
yeah.
You know, we talk a lot about, in this show, we talk a lot about what it means to be a female entrepreneur. And I'll never forget the story that you told me when you were going to a board of directors meeting
Yes.
where, there was a gentleman there and you walked in with, your beautiful anti-shake case ready for the meeting with your blue suit and, your patent leather shoes all set. And he says,
And
can you
don't
get me
forget the
a
dreadlocks.
coffee? Yes,
Don't
exactly.
forget the
And he
dreadlocks.
said, yeah, I want you to tell it. Go ahead, you tell it, please.
No, I mean, this is IBM. I was on the Great Lakes board for IBM, and I went to a board meeting in Lansing, Michigan. And at the time, I mean, I have never, ever conformed. So, I mean, when people tell me you got to straighten your hair to go to corporate America, I say I don't do that. I've always never done that. So you can't bend me to be who you want me to be. You either can take my value or you don't. You get it or you don't.
Right.
So when I was appointed to the Great Lakes board for IBM, I had dreads all the way down to my waist, and people were going, this is Big Blue, this is IBM, blue suit,
Right.
shine suit. And I'm going, well, this is me, and so on. But anyway, I was dressed the part, this is my hair. This is my hair. What do you want me to do with it? God gives it to me. And so I walked in and he said to me something like, um, you know, do you know where the coffee is? Can you like get me some coffee or something similar to that? And I'm in my blue suit, pointed toe shoes, button down white shirt, and I'm looking at this guy, and I'm not even thinking racism. I'm not even thinking any of this thing. I'm just thinking idiot. This is what I was thinking. And so I said to him, look, I don't know where it is, but when you find it, will you bring me a cup?
I
And I
know that's right.
think he almost died. And then I sat beside him in the meeting.
That's right.
And
Yeah.
I'm not going there with folks. I'm not doing the victim thing. I've never been a victim. Will never be a victim. And so, I act the part of total entitlement, which is what I work hard for. And no one
Exactly.
can take that away. So yeah, I did that, and it wasn't. To me at the time, it was just normal. It was just like, if you're stupid, then I'll treat you as if you're stupid. So
But you know what? That to me, when you told me that story, it really resonated with me because of the grace that you have. And it showed me that, sometimes being a female entrepreneur, you have to show the strength, but there's a graceful way of doing that. And I always thank you for that, and I will never forget that because to me, that is you, you know.
well, thank
Now,
you, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I certainly believe you cannot fight fire with fire. And I believe that people really sometimes have knee-jerk reactions. I mean, this country, there is no
Yep.
question, has insist, has race in its veins. It is the only thing they talk about. I keep thinking to myself, my God, I wonder how much more we would accomplish if we could talk about other interesting things that are going on in the world than race in America. You
Ooh
know,
wee.
mm,
and so yeah, and so my question is, I don't have to address that. This is not my issue. This is your issue. This is something that you have to understand. I understand it. I don't have to be defensive about it. I don't have to be anything about it. You have to understand why you need to do what you need to do. And once you
exactly.
get to that answer, you will truly understand the idea of racism. You know.
So now
Mhm.
let's talk about the next move. You sell the company, correct?
In 2004. Yeah,
Yes.
this
And
is
then you went
after
into a new
25
venture.
years. Yes.
Say that again, please.
This is after 25 years we did sell the company, and I moved to New York.
That's
Can,
so
can I just
crazy.
ask a
That's so
question?
crazy.
Can I just ask a question
Yeah.
before you go on, Marva? It
Yes.
just seems like you started the company at the really, really early birth of technology. But when you
Absolutely.
sold the company, you were in the middle of the whole Silicon Valley out of control. So that sounds like money to me, boo. I'm just saying.
Well, I mean, the idea of being in business is to make money. Otherwise, you're just a social worker, right? So, I
We ain't
mean,
doing this for free. We ain't doing this for free.
this
But
is
that's what
not.
I'm just saying is how smart the technological, not just the business moves, but just technologically, she knows what she's doing. Just understand that,
Oh
people.
yeah.
She knows what she's doing. Like, this is strategically plotting and planning. So you come in at the beginning of the birth of technology and sell in the middle of the height of the Silicon Valley madness. Go ahead, girl. I'm listening. And then,
But you know what was
So
so funny about that? I remember when we came to market. We came to market at the same time with Apple, IBM PCs at the time. There were things like Wang PCs. I mean, we were really early. We were early. We were launching. Microsoft stock was $7 when it went
mm,
on IPO. So if you were in the technology space and had the ability to buy Microsoft stock at that time, imagine where
right.
you'd be today. But struggling entrepreneurs that we were at the time, we couldn't even afford $7 to buy a Microsoft stock. We
I
were we
understand
were
it. I
we
understand it.
were, we were doing that. We were doing whatever we were doing, and we were learning how to be
Right.
technologists. But you cannot when something is for you, it cannot be for you.
Say it
You
again.
because because it's by the grace of God that our very first meeting that we did, a very, very big trade show that we did. Everybody is at this trade show trying to understand technology. So are we, the technologists. But we
Right.
ended up with $1 million contract from General Motors in 2 weeks of opening. our business, and that's what we rode all the way 25 years. Because
Oh,
once
no,
you
that's
had
right.
General Motors, then you could get Ford, then you could get Chrysler, then you had the credibility of the Fortune 500. So we
Exactly.
always only played in the Fortune 500 space. So it was a great business. It was a wonderful business along the way. We had amazing people who helped us. We did not do it alone. We had to hire all the PhDs, in technology. We didn't do it alone, and but it was a great business and quite a success. And I wouldn't have changed it for the world.
Awesome.
When did your love for reading begin?
Oh, that happened when I was a kid. My father was an amazing storyteller. And I think children learn to love reading and love stories, if their parents are involved in that. And my father could tell stories, and I mean, he had all the intonations and everything. And I would sit and wonder, how could words make such beautiful cadences? How could they do that? And when I was 9, my father read to me a book called by Milton called Paradise Lost and Paradise Regained. And it was a big book, a big heavy book, but
Hmm.
he never ever limited us and say you can't, this is too hard for you. Try. He was always expand yourself. If you don't know it now, it'll come, but you have to repeatedly do it for it to come. And so from then on, I kept journals, I wrote stories, I did all kinds of things. So it was very natural. And one of the beautiful things actually is that were I to have been born tabula rasa and allowed to develop, right, I would have been a writer. That's what I would have been all of my life. I wouldn't have gone to
Mm.
film school because my sister went and my mother was in the field. I wouldn't have gone to technology because I would have honed in and become a full-time writer. But that wasn't the path for me. That was not the path intended for me. But when in about our maybe 16th or 17th year in the business of USI, we were so big a company at that point in time that I wrote my first 2 books while sitting in my office.
Yay.
So
Wow.
so that business allowed me to tee up my next career. And so for me, it has always been a teeing up. Once I'm in it, I'm looking for the next opportunity and the next finger to put where.
Yeah.
And so human became the next thing.
And before we get into human, because that was revolutionary. That was the phase of your life that I stepped in. I was hearing about this amazing bookstore that really was just documenting and
Everybody
being
heard about
amazing.
Hue-man Books.
Amazing people, just a great aura. And I was like, I gotta go check this out. This sounds like my kind of world. But you had said something very poignant where you
But
said
wait, Amelia,
you're always, yes.
you need to pay the bills.
Oh, excuse me. You are watching Sipping Something Sexy on www.twitch.tv/IMD and also www.she'sthebossradio.com. We'll be right back.
Right back. Hold that thought, Marva.
Uh, there you go. Like,
Hey,
oh,
I'm
wait
back.
a minute. Hold
Hey, and
up.
Marva's back
Okay.
now.
So, yes, and thank you very much for your patience. But you had said about how you think about what your next move is. And I think sometimes we as women, we get so fixed in the comfortability of where we're at. Sometimes we don't have the sense of that forethought. What advice would you give to young entrepreneurs on how to continue to grow within the world of entrepreneurialism?
Open every door that presents itself to you. You never know what's behind door number
I
one,
know
door
that's
number
right.
two, and door number three. You know, sometimes most of us anyway, we are conditioned into thinking that we want to be this or that, but it's not really who we are authentically. Sometimes opening those doors land you in an authentic room, and trust me, when you're in your authentic space, it's when you're going to shine, because it's not working. It's doing what you love, and it's loving what you do, and that is
But
just life.
So now, yes, we definitely got to snap, applaud, all of that to that. The human bookstore, the birth of it, was it a conversation? Was it a forethought? Was it a vision? How did that come about?
The same way the technology company did. I am what you call an on the way entrepreneur. The opportunity presents itself. So the
wow.
Human Bookstore actually existed before I came into the Human Bookstore.
Mm-hmm.
The Hue-man Bookstore was started by a woman called Clara Villarosa and her two partners, Rita Ewan, who was the former wife of Patrick Ewan, and Celeste Johnson, who was the former wife of Larry Johnson.
Mm-hmm.
And this is the time of the Harlem Empowerment Zone when Clinton was there and everything was robust and getting ready to be handed over, you know. But the point is that the empowerment zone came in and created this opportunity, and they approached these ladies to create a bookstore in there. And about this was in 2002 or three, I think, when they did this. So at the time, I was doing a book with Melvin Van Peebles, and I said to him at the time they had something called something is book country, and if they closed off all of Fifth Avenue, and you could go up and down Fifth Avenue at this literary thing, New York is book country, and so Melvin was headlining on the stage, and next to us was this woman Clara Villarosa, who was one of the founders of the bookstore. And interestingly enough, I had two novels, and I had Melvin's book, and I said I wanted her to go carry my book, and so I went up to Harlem after the event, and I dropped off a folder for her, and I didn't want her to think I was a flake, you know, or anything like that. So I put together a nice little folder, and one of the articles in there was about our company being one of the top 400 black companies in the United States at the time, and an article in Black Enterprise. And so I left it that with her, and I was leaving the country for 4 months to Sweden, and when I got back, my answering machine was just blown up from this woman calling me saying, you know, could you meet? Could you meet? And I'm thinking, oh, gee, I'm gonna be the next Terry McMillan. I'm gonna be rocking out
Right.
these things. Well, it ended up she called me. She because they hadn't been open but a year or something,
Mm-hmm.
and they were at the risk of closing because I guess they were not entrepreneurs in a way. You know, they were genuine and wonderful and good at heart and all of that. But you're running a business, and a business is a business. And because
Yep.
they gave you $2 million to run it, you know, doesn't mean that it means that if you spend the money in 1 year, you don't have any to run it the next 20 years. You know,
Yeah.
so you know, understanding business and running a business is, and I saw what for me, I had really no interest in coming into human. I really wanted to go and came to New York to go to Columbia to do an MFA in writing. That was my hope, you know. But then, um,
God stepped in again.
yes, And then my entrepreneurial thing came in, and I said, I was very respectful. I said, here's this woman. She was like 70 something. Yeah, and Melvin kept saying, you've got to give her the wisdom of your experience. He kept saying that to me. You've got to give her the wisdom of your experience. You're one of the few black women in America, in technology and in whatever. I mean, at the time when I was in technology, Ursula Burns, who became the CEO of Xerox, was the
Yeah, I
secretary.
love her story.
She was a secretary at Xerox at that time. So
Okay.
these two black women never heard of. There was no Ursula Burns. There were no so
All
on.
right.
And so he convinced me to give it a go. And then I thought to myself, okay, let me give it a go, but I can't run a little corner bookstore. That's not what I.
Yeah, oh, it's far from that.
So it was,
Trust and believe.
so it was my intent to franchise the Hue-man Bookstore nationwide, where there was a population that could support it, and so on. But one of the things that you have to be absolutely certain about when you get into business is the partnerships that you form. You
Yes,
know,
ma'am.
80% of the businesses that go out of business, they will go out for two reasons: bad choice of partners and bad management of money. And
Hmm.
very high burn rates for their spending to keep the business going. So, I mean, I was a woman who used to formal business, and were in the business as a formal business, and my partners were not, and with a
That made
vision,
it difficult.
and became very very difficult. So I just took over the business,
Yep.
and then
Woo! Boy, did you.
that was that,
But
and then
I have to interject real quick because you're so humble.
yeah.
For those of you that are listening and never had the Human Bookstore experience, it was iconic. I mean, you would have Bill Cosby, you would have Maya Angelou. That was when I came. I was like, because I was such a big Maya fan, and I was like, what? She's in Harlem? What? And oh my goodness, your events were always well put together, very classy, very educational and entertaining at the same time, and
Yeah,
most important, memorable
yeah,
and
yeah.
iconic. That's the only anybody that got a chance to experience that will never forget.
I
Yeah,
think
you got
what's
to give applause
interesting,
to that one.
yeah, absolutely, Mecca. I think what's also interesting about Human is that you came in realizing that it was the business that was sputtering and definitely needed to be lifted up. But the beauty of Human bookstore was part of it was in the name
Yes,
because it wasn't human
yes,
bookstore. It was
yes.
the Hue
The
Man
trend, absolutely,
bookstore.
and
So
that's
it was
yeah,
so I think that you stepped into it right on time and brought more of the relevance and not that they didn't do a good job before because I knew about Hue-man before Marva
hmm
took it over, right? But
hmm
of
hmm
course, once she did, and like you said, everybody was anybody that had a book, got their book in Hue-man.
yeah,
Yep,
Celebrities, the Eric Jerome Dickies, the Carl Webbers, like we can go down the list of everybody I know
yep,
because I ran up to Hue-man to get my book in there. So I'm just
yep.
telling you, Hue-man, come on, Hue-man was the first bookstore when I became an author. I was like, I got to get my book in Hue-man. So it's just like it was like a rite of passage when
yes,
people still went to bookstores and particularly bookstores of color because it's one thing to be in a Barnes and Noble and a big. They used to have a place called Walden Books for anybody who Google it if y'all
Right,
don't know, but
right.
yes,
right because but there used to be actual big bookstores. It used to be a big business, and
that's
now bookstores are closing, and especially bookstores of color. And I'm glad to see a few of them showing up. But Hue-man, when you made it to Hue-man, baby, it's like you made it.
You
I'm just
made it.
saying.
Wait, we got to pay the bills. We'll be right back. This is you are watching Sipping Something Sexy. Our host of the day, our guest of the day is Miss Marva Allen. I am Amelia's Moore, my co-host
Looking
Brooklyn.
good.
And you can catch us on twitch.tv/IMD Mecca or
She's the Boss Radio.
www.shesthebossradio.com. We'll be right back.
We back.
Hey, hey, hey. There she is. So, Marva, okay, I have a twofold kind of question to you. First of all, like, all right, it was a struggling business. You came in. When did you realize, oh, snap, it's popping? And then when did Talib Kweli and some of the other artists come into play?
So, one of the things that I know that you have to do in business is market, right? You got to market. When I got into Hue-man Bookstore, we had no money. Seriously, I mean, the money was gone, and
Right.
they were building a cafe at the time.
Mm-hmm.
And I said to myself, I have no money for marketing, but we've got a whole lot of people who have marketing dollars. Bill Clinton. So I said, I'm going to get Bill Clinton to come to Hue-man Bookstore, and we're going to put ourselves on the map that if you have a book and you need and you want or anyone, this was what we were called, you're going to have to come to Hue-man. You can't get into Hue-man, you don't have the rite of passage. Yeah,
And that
no,
was so true.
so we spun that. So that's what we spun. So when we brought in Clinton, I mean, people from all over the world, even even the press from all over the world showed up at our site. You know,
Yo,
and
Mm-hmm.
that
because
block was so hot.
it was strategic, because he was in Harlem. His office was a state office building in Harlem. He couldn't say no to me. There was just no way you could say no in Harlem, right? You're there to
Right.
uplift Harlem, and you're going to go to Barnes and Noble, and your local bookstore is right here. Anyway, and we got Bill Clinton to come and sign because we'd had Hillary the year before. But the beautiful thing about that, and he did, he signed for 5 hours in that bookstore, and it was an amazing signing.
Mm-hmm.
It was a party outside, it was beamed around the world, and now
Yes,
we
it
would have
was.
people coming in from everywhere to find out who is Hue-man, and everybody now wanted to come to Hue-man, so it became very easy to curate that to curate that kind of thing. And in fact, it was so well done, sorry, and so well organized that Random House, I remember, asked me to write the logistics for them of how we
Wow.
did that event. We had
Wow.
25,
Wow.
I know, we had 2,500 people lined up around the bar. We had entertainers, hot dogs. We had, I mean, people with water, and it was like a party. It was like a block
Yes, it
party,
was.
so many blocks deep. And so
Yep.
that became the legacy, and that carried us forward. And from there on out, everybody wanted to come, and then we followed that up very
Vivica Fox
carefully.
and then Whitfield.
Yeah, we curated very carefully the next 10, 20 authors. Because then we had Bill Cosby, and he had as many people around the block as Bill
Yep.
Clinton, and so on and
Yep.
so forth. Then we started just lining up the Hollywood people, and then we created the everyday person, the everyday authors book. So people knew that we weren't we weren't just doing celebrity signing. Any author could sign at Hue-man. We even had first voices, you know,
Yeah.
so on. So we were really truly a community bookstore, and it hurt my heart to close Hue-man.
I was just going to ask you
Ooh,
about that.
girl.
The day, it was, for me, it was the day of heartbreak.
I know.
Everybody was so solemn in Harlem. It was
Yes.
crazy. It was like
Mhm.
an unwritten, unspoken sadness.
Yeah,
Like
Yes.
just as
nobody
big
wanted
as
to bring
Lennox
attention
Lounge
to it.
closing because it was so iconic. It was like
Yes.
same as
Yes,
that. You know what I
Yes.
mean?
Yes.
yes.
Yes. Yes. I
And
know.
so many people were reflecting. How did you feel?
Well, I knew a year ahead of time that we would close the bookstore because there were several reasons that would allow me to make this decision.
Right.
One
Right.
was that the lease was going to expire. It was a 10-year lease that would expire. Uh, and I didn't, and at the rate at which bookstores were going closing, every bookstore was closing, I didn't think we would be able to sign another 10-year lease, and there was nothing less to
Right.
sign. So that would not have been a good business decision. I weigh everything through the lens of business, right? And even though I know we were like a community center, we were a business. We had to make money to stay alive,
Absolutely.
right? And so I knew a year ahead of time, and I never. And then we also needed to dissolve the partnership, which was um, at the point in time, our diversion visions of my needing to franchise and they needing to stay in Harlem, where it's just not what I do, So we decided. So I decided I was closing. I was majority shareholder, and so I
There you go.
decided I was going to close. I didn't even mention it until 1 month before we closed because I
Yep.
knew we would
I
have
remember that.
somewhat of a mayhem. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Somewhat of a mayhem, and I didn't want that. I wanted people to remember Hue-man as potent as it was and for what it was. And even though it was not moving forward, it had a 10-year period of delivering, yeah,
Excellence.
and setting
Hmm.
standards, and
Yes,
so on.
absolutely.
So when I closed Human, um, it was this is teeing up the next thing, right?
Yeah.
I think, yeah, I'm an author, I'm a bookstore owner, right? I know what these authors need. I certainly know what Black authors need, to be successful. And they're not getting an opportunity. So they're flooding the market with self-published authors, which enter go nowhere. They go nowhere. The only people getting rich are the Ingram Sparks and the Amazon, because they get paid no matter what, right? You publish a
Oh
book,
God,
get
the
good
Right.
biggest
PO,
relief.
you have to pay them. Amazon,
Right.
I mean Ingram, you print it, you have to pay. You also have to pay for them to distribute it to the bookstore. So they
Exactly.
get paid. You're not seeing a dime. And I'm thinking this is not right. And the publishing industry is archaic and it's not taking advantage of the technology that is available that could empower authors instead of disempower them. And one of the things you would see as you're in the industry is that it's like two fractions, right? Here are the authors and here are the publishers. They're not friends.
Yep.
No,
They are not friends. You
Not at
know,
all.
no.
and you think, but they're going for the same cause. They want the same thing. The system is not set up that way. It is
Hmm.
not set up to be an integrated system that makes everyone win. The publisher win or the author win, or luckily sometimes both. but um, but I was on a panel at the Apollo Theater with Jack Dorsey, the founder of Twitter, and I
Oh
Hmm.
said
my goodness.
and I said to him, Jack, I think I have an idea that could be great. It is a hybrid idea. People should invest in themselves. If you believe in your success, you're going to go to school. You're
Yep.
investing in your education. Am I correct? You're going to be a
Yes.
doctor. You're going to invest in your education. You're going to be a writer. You have to invest in yourself and in your win, right? I mean,
Yes.
I have to run a technology business. I had to come up with the seed capital to start the business, right? You have to invest in yourself. And if you believe in yourself and that winning is non negotiable, you have to believe I have the right solution here. And I can use my years of technology and my years of publishing experience to figure out how to deliver something amazing for the author. Not only a high quality book at a really, really affordable cost, because what a lot of authors don't realize is when they're writing, before you can even go to a publisher, you'll spend hundreds of thousands of dollars to get a editor, to get a proofreader, because they won't even look at your book unless it's properly proofed.
Girl, talk about it.
So there are people who are spending six, seven, eight, nine, $10,000 even before they get to the agent.
Yep.
Exactly.
You know, and then the publisher gives you an advance that you have to pay back. And I'm
Yep.
thinking, I need to invert this funnel, and that's exactly what I did with WORDEEE. I inverted the funnel, did a hybrid, model, and guaranteed that not only would you have a quality book, but you would have it in one third of the time that you could get it
You
from a
know,
traditional publisher.
what's also, first of all, I want to go into the name itself, WORDEEE. I just love the name. Like, it's catchy. It's very cognitive.
Yeah,
What went into your thought process to select that name? And when you came up with it, did you say, "Yeah, this is it"?
yeah. When I came out with it, I didn't want to call it bookie. I didn't want to call it because I mean, if you remember, it says in the Bible, in the beginning there was a word, and in the end there will always be the word, right?
Yep.
Yep.
This is how we communicate through words,
Yeah.
okay? And words shouldn't be just bound to books. Words could be
Right.
music, words could be theater, words could be movies, words could be books, could be song, it could be everything. So why not let the word be free, right?
Right.
So we start with the book. But pardon me, I have a frog in my throat.
It's okay.
It must be the apple cider vinegar. It's so
Yes,
good.
that's what it is.
Yeah, really. But if we started with the work, could we not platform that work into maybe music, into TV, into film, and give the author the greatest opportunity to reach their full potential?
Mm.
So I mean, if they're willing to work hard at their craft, as all of us have to work hard to succeed, right?
Right.
They're not going to wait on a publisher for you to succeed. That's not how Terry McMillan did it. They made a
Not at all.
publisher book and she wrote to every single bookstore, showed up, did, Elin Harris, all of the authors who they had to do the work once book is just a production. You got to do the work.
Hmm.
Now,
Yep.
so we have our WORDEEE feels like a family because we're a family, of people who are very interested in each other's success. And
Excellent.
so we publish the books.
Well,
We distribute.
before you start talking about it, this is our last time we have to break for commercial. But guys, in the last part of the show, if you want to call in, the number is 347-305-5202. No, 5205. Pardon me.
5205.
Yes, exactly. Thank you, ladies. So I'm going to say that again: 347-305-5205. And you're watching Sipping Something Sexy right here on Twitch TV / IMD Mecker, as well as www.shesthebossradio.com. We're going to pay some bills. We'll be right back. There she is. Marva, one of the things that I love about your platform is that you had said that it's a family and you actually have like a community icon that allows people to just talk and have conversation. Why was that so important for you and your platform?
Well, one of the things there are several things in our platform that is just not anywhere
Yes.
else. One is the fact that if you're a published author, you know what it's like to get a royalty check, maybe never, right?
Yes.
Have you ever gotten one, Brooke?
No.
Have you ever gotten
No.
a royalty check?
Yes.
Oh, okay. So the thing is, this is it's difficult to understand what you're selling, how many books you're selling, and what you're getting paid for, and so on and so forth. So we've made that completely transparent on our platform because it ticks down, and each time your book is sold, you can see exactly what's sold and how much money you've made. And in fact, you can go out and request it at any time. We give you the freedom to do that. To just click a button and say, because some writers, hey, sometimes paying the bill is important, right? Paying the light bill
Hmm.
is important. So why wait 6 months, 18 months? Give them the ability to do that, and so on.
Wow.
And the other thing is you want to connect. Use technology connect. They have TikTok, they have Facebook. You can use any of those platforms within our platform to create a tribe.
Awesome.
Pardon me, I do know what is tickling in my throat. I just got back from 6 months in Mexico.
Oh my
And
goodness. Wonderful.
I'm getting used to the weather here again. It's much moister here than there.
Yeah.
So I don't
Oh
know.
yeah,
Yeah,
it's drier there.
much
It's
drier.
beautiful
Yeah,
there.
So we want authors to be in control of their own destiny. We want them to call their own cards, but we don't want them to have to sit down with a garage full of books. So we handle all the distribution. We handle all the we have marketing programs. We have all kinds of things that will allow them to reach their full potential.
That's incredible. I also like that you have like this trending. Yeah, there you go, Demetha.
Yeah, trending
I also
authors.
like that you highlight certain authors, and you know sometimes you need that little extra push. Even within your community. Was that the intention of that?
Yes, that was the intention of that because WORDEEE is more than a publishing company; it's a media company. So the idea
Hmm.
that is that as your books sell, you trend to the top, right? So then you come to our notice, and then we decide at that point, oh, people are gravitating towards this, but we should look for a new platform for it. Would it be a good TV show? Would it be a good film? Would it be a good this? Would it be a good that? So we look for the next opportunity to cross platform that book. And we know we have an engaged author when we see them trending, right? So we know they're
Right.
engaged and we know we can get behind them. And so that was totally intentional. So the more your books sell, the more you trend on the platform. The more you trend
Nice.
in the platform, the more you come to our attention so that we know whether you're cross-platformable or not. We have one woman who we did her book. It's an amazing book. It's called Orchestration, and we have a movie option for that.
Wow.
At this point, it's great because she's a Korean war child, Korean war child who was adopted to the United States. And it's just an amazing. Oh, it's been an amazing journey for this author. And we have a couple of uh, producers, directors looking at the work as a potential film opportunity for
So
the author.
here's a hard question. I know with the success of what you've created, you get a lot of pitches. What is the criteria that you say, oh yeah, this would be great for this platform?
So we have some barriers to entry. Okay, we do that intentionally. Uh, pardon me, don't know what that is. Um, We do that intentionally to see who is serious and who is not. Right? In order to come, you have to submit your book on our platform. Right? And to do that, you have to go to WORDEEE, you have to submit the book, and you have to pay $50 to do that. We then evaluate your book, and we tell you, and we give you back a full editorial letter, either whether we publish you or not. Um, this is terrible. I don't know what I
That's the
have.
vinegar breaking up all that mucus. That's what that is, to be perfectly
Yeah.
honest with you. That's
I
what
need
it
to have
is. And that's a good thing. That's why I haven't been mad. I'm like, it's working.
it must be the other side of vinegar. Woo,
Yes, that's exactly what it is. It's breaking up all that mucus.
I'm sick. Yeah, but when they come to the platform and they do that, right? If they're willing to take that first step, we know that they're seriously interested in their what. We don't keep their money; we give it back to them if they publish with us. It gets credited right back into the process. But how many times could an author get someone to give them a real valid critique of their
Yeah,
work?
that's
You
valuable.
know, I mean, that says, but it may not be for us. You just
Right.
can't come to us and upload your book and we're publishing it. It has to fit the WORDEEE model. We tend to look at books that have the ability to cross-platform. You know, could this be an animated children's series? You know, could this be you know, listen, Hamilton did it, right? Hamilton started as theater.
Yeah,
It ended up with 3 books, 3 albums, television, documentary, and a film.
yeah,
Right?
that's crazy.
That's what I call optimizing the artist potential.
Good God.
I can't you start from a book and do the same thing. You can't. You really can't. And that's our goal. That's our goal right there.
So can we get the address of the website so the authors that are listening and the authors that will be watching this will know whether they can actually come and submit to try to get approval?
Yes. So we are www.wordee, WORDEEE, 3E, educate, entertain, right, and expand. Right? So that's what we want to do with Wordee, expand, you educate, and so on. So, um, audience, I am sorry. I do not know where this
No,
cough
it's
came
okay.
from. I
It's fine.
apologize. But
See what I
it's
say, y'all? She's such a classy lady. I love you.
but it is again www.wordee.com. And it'll be very self-explanatory. We give you an introductory video as to who we are, as WORDEEE, why it's a good thing to publish with us. And each time you sign up, you know, we teach you how to use the platform and all of that. So it's really cool. It's
Yes, it
really sick.
is. Yes,
If
it
I
is.
say so
And
myself.
are you then getting books onto say Kindles and Nook, or does it specifically have to be read, or are you coming out hint hint with your own sort of device that will be able to read like a Kindle or a Nook or a Wordie or a Marva or whatever you want to call it? But
Hint, hint.
you understand what I'm
Well,
saying?
right now, we distribute to all the publishers, all of the ebook
Right.
publishers, meaning
Okay. Okay. That's what I wanted to know.
and so on. So we are in the back end your full distribution arm. So we distribute all of the ebooks to all of the platforms to Ingram, who distributes to the bookstores and
Yeah,
to the libraries,
Right.
and through
I'm gonna see.
that also distributes to the bookstores and to the libraries. So
Yes.
we cover the entire gamut.
Woo-wee.
We cover the
Awesome.
entire gamut of the distribution. And then we also, which is no other publisher does, we also can allow people to buy from our website. You can buy directly from our website. And the
Right.
benefit to the author is that, uh, and we've had authors who have managed this really well and made a lot of money. Um, It's because without the middleman, you can get much more royalty. So in a
Yes.
traditional house, you'll get 7 to 15% royalty. In a worded world, you get a 50% royalty if the person
Whoa.
comes directly to buy your book. We give them that option. Or if you go through distribution, you know,
Right.
you'll get distribution royalty, but you have the option for both.
Are you able to
You,
discuss when your royalty schedule is? So most places you were just asking Amelia. For me, a royalty check will come in once a quarter. So
hmm
that's why I'm asking, is it less time than that now for your site? Will authors
Hers
see?
is automatic.
you're in control of your royalty. You can release
Yeah,
it.
you
I
can.
have a lady who releases her royalty every week. I mean, it's hilarious because you're in
Got it.
control. We give you the power to do that. You can control that however you want.
Right.
Well,
Okay.
this has been such an amazing time. This hour has literally flown by.
It did.
I knew it was going to be this fabulous. I just love you guys. Do you see why I love this woman? Oh,
She's
Marva.
amazing.
Yes, I cannot
Uh,
thank you enough for taking the time to chit chat with Lynn and I. I mean, this is just special and dear to my heart. Lynn?
Yes. I just I'm happy. I feel more educated. Um, I knew that when I came to Hue-man, I was in the right place many years ago, and it's just an honor now to be able to actually talk to you and connect. And there are some authors that have reached out to me that are having issues with their books and a lot of legal issues, actually. And I'm going to now direct them to Marva
To worry.
because I think that Marva I think that Marva really needs to hold a workshop because people are they're not first of all I have to say some of the authors are not doing their research, so they don't know all the
yeah.
information and some things, and that's our fault as an author because you need to do your research. But then you
Yeah.
have the other side where people give out misinformation. So when you get misinformation and go off of that, you don't necessarily end up with the best end result. I've seen this happen, and so I definitely would beg you to just to hold a couple of workshops on being an author and a published author because people need this knowledge. People need this knowledge, and they need to
I
know you're the woman for it.
Oh, that's and thank you for that. And to your point, we have what is known as you go on the site, you'll see WORDEEE University, where we do teach all
Yes,
these classes. We teach
yes.
classes
Word of
on
universe.
novel writing, we teach classes on
Awesome,
children, we teach classes on publishing.
awesome. So I'm going to direct
Wordy
some authors to
University,
you.
y'all. Wordy University. Well,
There
thank
you
you
go.
again, Miss Marva Allen. I'm your host, Amelia Moore. Make sure you guys are following us on Instagram, Sipping Something Sexy. Also on YouTube, Sipping Something Sexy. Check out our merch. We've got T-shirts and a whole bunch of other stuff, and we're going to talk more about that. So, Lynn, any last closing comments?
Just thank you so much, Marva. Like I said, we here now, Marva. We here. We here. I did have to ask something. Where's that accent that I'm hearing? Where's that from, Marva? I hear an accent when you speak. What did
Jamaica.
you say? Jamaica?
Jamaica.
Jamaica.
I don't
Well,
want to
that's it,
assume.
guys.
I don't want to assume. Awesome.
I appreciate
We've
you.
got it
Thanks for the
going on.
invitation.
It's Miss Marva Allen. Thank you so much. You're watching www.she'sthebossradio.com as well as twitch.tv/IMD Mecca. Check us out every other Sunday, the second and fourth Sunday of the month, 3 to 4 p.m. Till bye.
Sip something. Thank
Bye
you.
bye. Thank you.
Keep sipping.
Take care, Marva. Thank you.